Wow. Oh my god. My mind has been blown. If this is what future Gamescoms have in store for us, then people are right. Maybe one day we'll surpass E3 in terms of industry hype and big reveals. I normally expect B-tier announcements from Gamescom, smaller games that don't exactly set the world on fire and they don't make you say, "Oh my god, I gotta have this console right now." But holy shit, this is an absolute megaton that was just dropped this morning. I have to tell you about this. There's gonna be no editing, no intro, no outro, just straight up raw video. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of you already know this, but for those of you that don't, Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics have announced that Rise of the Tomb Raider is exclusive to the Xbox One. No, not a timed exclusive, 100% grade A, full Xbox One exclusive. And this news has set the internet on fire. People are losing their shit. They're flipping out. They are outraged and angry about this. This announcement took me completely by surprise. My mind is blown. I was not expecting this. This was a huge surprise. A big win for Microsoft and Xbox One owners, but it sucks for everybody else. Now I'm going to look at the points from both sides because I understand where both sides are coming from, so I'm going to be as unbiased as possible because I understand both sides here. So let's get started. Now Square Enix has come out of a very tough time. They've come out of some pretty hefty financial difficulties. They initially were not satisfied with Tomb Raider sales, going so far as to even call it a failure, even though it sold 3.5 million copies in its first week. I know that baffles me, but anyways, when the definitive when the definitive edition came out in January, they then deemed it a success. Again, that's beyond me, but whatever. There's another similar action adventure game coming out next year, and the next installment in a huge franchise that's being made by Naughty Dog. And of course, I'm talking about Uncharted. Uncharted 4 Thief's End is set to be the biggest PS4 game of 2015. I know, and everybody else knows it's going to be a huge hit. An absolutely huge hit. And I'm guessing Square Enix looked at this and said, "Oh shit, what are we gonna do? How can we combat this?" I know, let's just make Tomb Raider exclusive to the Xbox One. And I can see why Microsoft would choose to do this. You know, they're going to do whatever it takes to make the Xbox One successful. They want to compete head on with the PS4. The gloves are finally coming off, and they're being incredibly aggressive. And they know how popular the Uncharted series is. They know that it's one of Sony's biggest brands, one of the PlayStation's flagship franchises. And they saw that they didn't have anything to compete with it. So instead of internally creating a franchise similar to Uncharted at Microsoft Studios, which would probably take a good amount of time, they said, how can we have an already established competitor to Uncharted as quickly as possible? I know, let's make Tomb Raider an exclusive to Xbox One. Let's just throw Square Enix a bunch of money and make it exclusive. So this is probably the way to get this done the fastest. My theory is that it's a very simple one, is that they just throw a bunch of money at Square Enix. They went to their offices in Tokyo, wherever it is in Japan, and offer them a huge truckload of money to make Rise of the Tomb Raider exclusive to Xbox One, and that's what happened. Yes, I know it sucks, but at the end of the day, it is just business. And I honestly did thought that third-party exclusives would just kind of die down because AAA games are getting more expensive to make, and publishers don't really benefit by siding with one console manufacturer over the other, but apparently not. Either way, this is a huge megaton. But I also understand why the fans are so upset. Now, some of you may be quick to say, "Oh, they're just a bunch of salty PlayStation fanboys or a bunch of salty PC fanboys," but you really have to understand where they're coming from. Most of the Tomb Raider's audience is on the PlayStation and PC. A lot of people grew up with these games. They love Lara Croft. They love these games. They love everything about them. So they kind of perceive this as a betrayal and kind of a dick move. They kind of perceive it as Square Enix, saying screw you to their fans with a giant middle finger. And not only that, they took that giant middle finger and essentially rammed it right up their ass for good measure, to add extra insult to injury. Because this is way different than Bayonetta 2, because this is a megaton on the realm of Bayonetta 2. For example, Bayonetta 2 would not have existed if it wasn't for Nintendo coming in to fund the game. They saved the game from being cancelled because Sega really wanted nothing to do with it. So they saved the game. I'm sure a lot of people were initially upset at Platinum Games, but a lot of people have come to accept this over time and said, hey, this looks good. And Wii U owners are getting a very promising exclusive. So nobody, for the most part, was really upset about this. I'll use another example, Shenmue 3. If that ever gets announced, and that was announced for the PS4, people wouldn't get too upset about this because the game, theoretically maybe would not have existed without Sony's help if that was ever to come to fruition. Some people are hinting that's what's going to happen, but again, nothing is set in stone. So if that happened, people wouldn't be too upset about this because they perceive it as Sony coming in to save the game. But the difference with this is, and why people are so upset with this, is because Rise of the Tomb Raider was already coming to Xbox One, so it's not really benefiting anyone. Sure, Xbox One owners will be probably really pleased about this, but at the same time, again, it doesn't really benefit anyone because it's really just keeping the game from PlayStation and PC owners, which is Tomb Raider's biggest audience, and it's closely associated with those platforms. So understandably, people are upset about this, because Tomb Raider was built on the PlayStation and PC brands, and now it kind of looks like Square Enix is kind of just abandoning them. That's kind of what this looks like. So that's why people are so upset. So I just really want you to see it from their perspective here. But really, honestly, I can see the points of both sides, and this announcement took me completely by surprise. This is a huge megaton, and what a way to start off Gamescom 2014, right? This is absolutely huge, and again, this is just business. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you think this, to all my fellow gamers out here who are going to watch this video, do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is a bad thing? Let me know in the comments down below. Anyways, this is That Kid Douglas, aka the Unhero, signing out. Deuces, stay frosty and keep it weird.